The Lake Travis area is one of the fastest growing sections in all of Greater Austin, but there are so many different pockets to tap into that it can be incredibly overwhelming if you don't have the right information. My name is Aubrey von Behren, and I've lived in the Lake Travis area for over 10 years now, and I know it like the back of my hand. Today, I'm going to tap into 5 different lake communities that I think you should know about, and some that seem to be the most popular, not only amongst my personal clients, but also others moving to the area. Be sure to stick with me because I'm going to highlight one of the spots that I think has the most untapped potential and a spot that not many people know to look into, so be sure to stick around. So working our way down the south shoreline of Lake Travis is how I'm going to get started. I'm going to cover the top 5 areas and communities starting from north to south. And these are the communities that I think you should really know about. I'll be providing an overview of each of those areas, breaking down the distance to downtown Austin, which is incredibly important to so many people. If applicable, the amenities within the community, overview of price point, and really the overall vibe of that particular area. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. Starting with the Comanche area, this is one of the northernmost points on the south shore of Lake Travis, which be sure to look at my previous video that breaks down the differences between the north and south shore of Lake Travis. It's incredibly important, but I digress. This is an area that not many people know about because it's a fairly small pocket relative to other areas within this section. This particular section of Comanche started back in the 40s, and it now has many newer homes and even a couple of newer gated communities within a relatively small pocket. Most of the homes you'll find are nestled among the hills. We have tons of Texas hill country as you go out west towards Lake Travis, and you definitely capture this within the Comanche area. So on that note, most of the homes have some sort of hill country or canyon view, which is incredible. And many of the homes actually have views of Lake Travis itself. So it's an area that not many people know about. It's relatively small, but it captures so much and you can get a ton for the money. In terms of distance to downtown Austin, you're roughly 30 minutes away. This is actually more convenient than some of the other areas near the lake because you're conveniently located near 620 and 2222, which takes you right into Austin. So this is definitely a major thoroughfare into and out of Austin towards Lake Travis. Before I touch a little bit more on price point and some of the commercial amenities nearby, let's talk a little bit more about the amenities within the community. Now, it's important to note that the Comanche area is not a master plan community like you see in some other parts and areas around Lake Travis, so there really aren't typical neighborhood amenities. With that being said though, you do have local waterfront parks nearby that are super easy to access for residents. One of those parks in this area is Hippie Hollow Park. It's important to include this disclaimer though, because Hippie Hollow Park is technically the only clothing optional park in all of Texas. So it may not be a park that you want to necessarily frequent. If that's not your cup of tea, then you have many other parks within this immediate area of Comanche where everybody will be wearing clothing. So that's important to note. But again, tons of really nice green space in the Comanche area, neighborhood parks that you can tap into. Many of the homes in this pocket too have their own pools. So you really don't necessarily have to leave your house unless you just really want to venture out. So I get this question all the time. People, when they're moving to an area that they're unfamiliar with, really want to know how convenient the day-to-day amenities will be. So all of your commercial staples, grocery stores, pharmacies, things of that nature. And I'm going to break that down for the Comanche area specifically. In this location, you have the 4 Point Shopping Center with our H-E-B grocery store. That's the Texas grocery store chain. It's wonderful. Again, this is located just up the road, 5 to 10 minutes away in the 4 Points Shopping Center. In this shopping center, you have, of course, restaurants, other necessities like Target, UPS, Orange Theory for those who are looking for a fitness spot, and really so much more. And just up the road several miles, you'll find a lot of non-chain restaurants. Of course, you have the typical fast food spots like Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, some of those others, all very, very conveniently located, but you also get some local restaurants just up the road that you can easily tap into if you're not really wanting to stay home and cook one evening. So I promised you an overview of price point for all of these areas too. And in this particular area of Comanche, considering the bulk of homes are either waterfront homes or those that offer big hill country views, the price points are high, typically in the multi-millions. Now, with that being said, you get so much value for the money. The homes are larger with, I'd say, an average of 4,000 square feet. So you're certainly getting a lot for your money in terms of size and square footage. And I'd say overall, this area is really an eclectic section of Lake Travis that, again, offers big views, hillside properties, and a lot of architectural variety between homes, which I know a lot of people like, especially when they're spending so much money. But again, I do want to reiterate that even though the home prices are expensive relative to other areas, you are getting so much for your money. Again, welcome to the channel. My name is Aubrey von Behren, and this is all about what it's like living in Austin. I've been a local for over 13 years now and love sharing everything that I've learned over that period of time. Make sure you hit that like button because it helps people just like you find this information a little more easily. And if you're happy with the content that I'm putting together for you, please hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you're alerted of each of the new videos that I'll be putting out for you weekly. As a reminder, I'm also a licensed real estate broker in the greater Austin area, and I would love to connect about your move to Austin. So call, text, email, schedule an appointment with me in the link below, and let's dive a little bit more in depth to your Austin move. Now, the second area that I think you should really know about is Hudson Bend, and this is a large pocket off of Lake Travis located just south of the Comanche area by Mansfield Dam. So this is actually the dam that holds Lake Travis in. And then at the base of Mansfield Dam is Lake Austin. So just a little point of reference there. But what's really unique about this Hudson Bend area is that it's technically part of the Austin ETJ, which means that the city of Austin isn't really regulating the area. You have very minimal property restrictions in Hudson Bend, and I'd say that's both good and bad depending on exactly what you're looking for. Hudson Bend definitely offers the widest variety of homes, from manufactured properties to multi-million-dollar lakefront homes. You really have everything that you could possibly imagine in Hudson Bend. Because of the minimal restrictions, you'll actually find many small businesses where the owners also live in the property. So it's kind of neat. You can have a live workspace in some of these areas due to those minimal restrictions. To give you a better understanding of the variety that you'll find in Hudson Bend, you'll find everything from RV parks to boat storage facilities to traditional homes, and again, very expensive waterfront properties that are situated along Lake Travis. There's a lot of investment opportunity that I see in Hudson Bend, especially with the growth towards the Lake Travis area from Central Austin. I do think that's really important to note because if you are exploring the Lake Travis area and you are looking for more of an investment opportunity or a property to fix up, live in for a little while, and sell down the road, some of these locations could be really good for you, and Hudson Bend is definitely one of those spots. Let's talk a little bit more about location and proximity to downtown. Because you're located in the middle of 620, which is our north and southbound thoroughfare, you actually have two options for getting into Austin. This can definitely make things a little more convenient depending on traffic patterns and exactly where you're going within Central Austin. One direction will take you into North Austin and the other will take you into South Austin. So in terms of distance to downtown Austin, you're roughly 30 to 35 minutes, regardless of which direction you take. Really, that's dictated by exactly where in Austin, Central Austin, you seem to be going that day. With all of the minimal restrictions that I mentioned, you might be wondering what the amenities are like in Hudson Bend. So I'm going to dive into that a little bit more. Like the Comanche area, Hudson Bend isn't a master plan community. So your neighborhood amenities are really tied to the close proximity of Lake Travis itself, rather than the typical HOA run parks and pools. Now, with that being said, there is actually a section of Hudson Bend that does offer a nice waterfront park. You do have to be in a particular section of Hudson Bend, so definitely be sure to ask me about that, and I'm happy to point it out for you. But overall, It's really dictated by the proximity to Lake Travis, being able to tap into some of those city parks within the Hudson Bend area rather than the typical HOA run amenities. Now, with that being said, you do have numerous marinas on Lake Travis, specifically in Hudson Bend. These include marinas like Lake Travis Marina, West Beach, Emerald Point. Emerald Point can actually be a really good time because you have a restaurant there. You can go dock your boat if you're actually on Lake Travis, or drive up to the marina if you live in Hudson Bend. It's a great spot to watch the sunset, catch some live music, which they have very often, and just grab a bite to eat. You also have Mansfield Dam Park, which is a really nice waterfront park on Lake Travis that offers swimming, boating, and even spots to picnic. So there's a whole lot of outdoor resources that you can tap into within Hudson Bend itself, not ever having to leave. Let's talk commercial amenities. So in terms of those, because you're so centrally located off of our main road, which is 620, you're really equal distance to all the grocery stores and restaurants, both at 4 Points that I mentioned up near the Comanche area, and Lakeway, which is about 10 minutes south from Hudson Bend. Even closer, and just a few minutes around the corner, you'll also find a big amenity hub that is part of the Steiner Ranch master plan community. This has a grocery store, Randall's grocery store specifically, a really good local coffee spot, Summer Moon, which is one of my favorites, and several restaurants, including a really popular one, which is Steiner Ranch Steakhouse. So fun fact, Steiner Ranch was actually the Steiner family, so it's called Steiner Ranch. They had thousands of acres of ranch land that was then developed into the community, the master plan community of Steiner Ranch. So you do have a lot of really nice amenities that are essentially just 5 minutes up the road from you. If you live in Hudson Bend, you can tap into those. Up north at 4 Points near the Comanche area, and then about 10 minutes south in Lakeway itself. So you're very centrally located to a lot of things if you are living in the Hudson Bend area. Because of the wide range of home types and sizes within Hudson Bend, the price point can vary widely. You'll find condos and smaller homes in this section for $500,000 all the way up to multi-million-dollar waterfronts that are situated on Lake Travis lots. Overall, the Hudson Bend pocket is one that seems to have the most variety in terms of price point and definitely home types. And a big reason for that is because of the minimal restrictions and being located in the Austin ETJ. Let's dive into the third city, and that is Lakeway. This is actually where I live, so I'm incredibly knowledgeable about the entire Lake Travis area itself, in addition to Greater Austin, of course, and specifically Lakeway because I've been here for over 10 years. So diving into Lakeway, it is actually a city within Travis County, which is the same county as Austin, and it's roughly 13 square miles in size. Lakeway itself features about 20 different neighborhoods, so there's something for everyone within. Old Lakeway, you may have heard that, is what they refer to as the original 1,000 acres of Lakeway, and this started being developed back in the 60s. What I love about Lakeway is that you'll find winding streets, mature oak trees, and because it was developed in the 60s all the way until currently, you'll find very architecturally diverse homes. So if you're not looking for kind of that cookie cutter, more master plan community, which of course is very nice, and there are a ton of those in the Lake Travis area that are awesome, it's just not necessarily for everyone. You'll find more of that architectural diversity in Old Lakeway itself. So that could be a spot that you may want to dive a little bit deeper. If you do, be sure to reach out to me because I'm happy to give you some pointers on exactly where you might want to be. But in Lakeway, you also have hill country views, numerous golf courses for all of the golfers out there, and certainly city-run parks all throughout the community. So it's really nice. You have a lot of different things that you can tap into, all within Lakeway itself. So let's talk distance from downtown Austin, because I know, again, this is incredibly important to people, and it's certainly something that's been on my radar having lived in Lakeway for so long. Lakeway is situated farther south on 620. So when you're going into central Austin, you'll likely find yourself driving through Bee Cave just south of Lakeway and taking one of the 3 main roads into Austin. With the growth in the area, this is typically about a 30 to 35 minute drive into downtown Austin. Now, really, in the grand scheme of things, that's not very far for a city that's the size of Austin. I grew up in San Antonio, and it's an incredibly spread out city. So driving 30 minutes is really nothing. But just keep that in mind if you are moving from an area where maybe that's considered far to you. I know a lot of the Californians and New Yorkers moving into the area, that's really absolutely nothing to them. But there's always a trade-off for everyone. And if that's one for you, I always like to point that out, that no matter where you are in the Lake Travis area, you're probably 30 to 35 minutes into downtown Austin. And all that really varies is exactly which road you take into Austin to get there. So let's talk about some of the fun things to do in Lakeway, specifically the amenities. Lakeway is comprised of numerous neighborhoods, many of which have HOAs and true neighborhood amenities such as a community pool, parks, fitness centers, and things along those lines. So this area definitely varies a little bit more compared to Comanche and Hudson Bend areas specifically. Again, depending on which neighborhood you're actually in, you'll find all of these or most of these. If you're in Old Lakeway though, you actually don't have an HOA. So you'll find yourself plugging into many of the green belts that run through the city and other trail systems, again, that run through the city itself. So those are really great. You'll find people hiking and biking, lots of really nice nature and outdoor amenities with a lot of the vegetation that we have in Lakeway. No matter where you are in Lakeway, you'll also find big amenity centers like the World of Tennis, Lakeway Swim Center, and things along those lines. If you're a golfer, you can also tap into the memberships at 4 of the golf courses that are run by the Hills Country Club. So even though, depending on where you are, you don't necessarily have HOA run amenities, specifically in Old Lakeway, you have a ton that you can tap into for a very reasonable price, many of which are actually free. So overall, Lakeway has a ton to offer. And again, depending on which neighborhood you're in within Lakeway itself, you may have just a ton of HOA run amenities that you can tap into day to day. So let me know in the comments if you're thinking about a specific spot in Lakeway or Lake Travis for that matter, and I'm happy to chime in about exactly what you'll get within each of those communities. So I know this is a big one for a lot of people. It definitely is for me. And this has to do with commercial amenities, including restaurants and a lot of those luxuries that you would like to have nearby. So commercial amenities in Lakeway are overall incredibly convenient. Not only are you just 10 minutes from the Hill Country Galleria, which is the spot that features a Whole Foods grocery store and over 70 mixed use shops and restaurants, you also have the Oaks at Lakeway, which features our local grocery store, H-E-B, which you may have heard of by now, as well as several family-owned restaurants with a variety of food types. So my only complaint about the entire Lake Travis area is that the restaurants, yes, we have restaurants. A lot of them are not necessarily chain restaurants that you'll find elsewhere, but locally run restaurants. The problem and the complaint that I have is that you can only go to the same restaurants so many times. So we definitely don't have the same type of foodie spots that you may find in Central Austin. I think that will eventually come, but it's just not here right now. Again, we have plenty of restaurants for the amount that people usually go out to eat. But if you are a tried and true foodie, then you may want to be a little bit closer to Austin, or just know that you'll probably be driving into Austin a little more frequently to tap into some of those good foodie spots that Austin has to offer. So for the fun part, price. Lakeway is a large area that features a variety of homes and communities. Because of this, the price points actually vary quite a bit. If you're interested in some of these areas and finding the right spot for you, be sure to reach out to me because there is, again, such a wide variety. I'm happy to pinpoint the best spots to hit your goals and go over some of the price points and nuances within Lakeway itself and the specific communities. I'll say overall, Lakeway's median price point is typically higher than Austin. Much of this has to do with the Hill Country, the lake lifestyle, as well as the top-rated Lake Travis Independent School District, which is very important and a huge draw to the area. So just know overall, there's a lot for everyone within Lakeway with a variety of price points, but generally speaking, the median price point is always higher than the Austin area itself. All right, guys, we are on our 4th community. And again, be sure to stick with me because The last community is actually one that I think has a ton of upside potential and not many people know about it. But before I get to that, let's dive into Rough Hollow, which is a master plan community that is incredibly popular within the Lake Travis area and specifically Lakeway. Rough Hollow itself has actually earned consecutive awards for quote unquote best lifestyle for a master plan community. So pretty big award. And a big reason for this is the resort style community that is Rough Hollow. You're actually situated on the south shore of Lake Travis with a ton of amenities built into the community itself. So that's a huge draw for people moving to the area. You kind of have everything that you need all within your immediate neighborhood. What's unique about the spot is the direct lake access and an actual marina within the community. That's super hard to find in most of these areas, especially in areas nice as Rough Hollow. In Rough Hollow, you'll actually find a variety of home builders, including Weston Homes, Drees, Scott Felder, and many others. If you are interested in new construction, they are still building in Rough Hollow. So again, be sure to reach out to me. I have great relationships with all of these builders, and I can tell you the ins and outs of each of them very, very well. You also have custom builders building in the gated section of the peninsula, which features larger home sites and waterfront properties. Now, all of the homes within the peninsula are multi-million-dollar properties, again, on larger home sites, a little bit more space and privacy between neighbors, big canyon and lake views from many of the homes, and it's really, really nice. So Rough Hollow itself is actually part of the city of Lakeway. So you'll find yourself making the same 30 to 35 minute drive into downtown Austin. I know I touched on this a little bit earlier, but no matter where you are in the Lake Travis area along the south shore of Lake Travis specifically, you're typically 30 to 35 minutes from downtown Austin, so not very bad in the grand scheme of things. Rough Hollow definitely does not disappoint when it comes to amenities. So it's known for its amenities and of course the unique location along the shoreline of Lake Travis in the community itself. To dive into these a little bit further, you'll actually find two amenity hubs within the community. The first features the Yacht Club, which is the Rough Hollow Yacht Club and Marina, including a negative edge pool, pavilion, and a restaurant, Canyon Grill for lakeside dining. The marina is actually a fully stocked store. You have fuel pumps and complimentary kayaks and paddle boards for residents. So that's a lot of fun for everyone living in the community. You have people visiting you. It's a really easy, fun thing to go and do just 5 minutes away at the marina. Highland Village is the main amenity hub with 3 pools, including an adult pool, a swim-up bar, another pool with a lazy river and splash pad. You have a dog park, basketball courts, tennis courts, so many things. There's also a new fitness center that's available to residents. So again, you have everything in the community. You don't need a gym membership outside the community unless you have a particular spot that you just absolutely love, because you have a full fitness center in Rough Hollow that you can tap into as a resident. So again, you have access to all of these amenities for just over $200 a month, and it's a gorgeous community. So be sure to check it out if this is something that resonates with you. I think it's certainly worth exploring. Now for commercial amenities. Because you're still in Lakeway, you're going to be able to plug into all of the commercial spots within the Oaks at Lakeway, the Hill Country Galleria, both of which are about a 10-minute drive from Rough Hollow. So again, you're incredibly well located within Lakeway to where you can tap into pretty much everything that it actually has to offer, everything being completely convenient. So let's dive into price. Rough Hollow's home prices are fairly consistent across the board since many of the homes feature similar floor plans and architectural style. Prices will vary based on which section of the community you're in and the home type and builder themselves. So for example, Rough Hollow features condos and townhomes that offer a true lock and leave experience, which is really nice. The ones that are on the water or lakefront are going to be much more expensive than the ones situated on interior lots. This is also true for the single family homes. For example, if you're in one of the specific gated sections that may offer larger home sites and larger floor plans with increased square footage, the home prices are going to be more expensive to to accommodate those things. So again, let me know in the comments if you're considering any of these locations within Rough Hollow specifically, or anywhere in Lake Travis for that matter. I'm happy to answer any questions. And as always, you're welcome to call, text, or email, and we can set up a time to dive into your specific search a little more in depth. All right, I promised you an area with a ton of untapped potential, and in my opinion, this is definitely that. So before I tell you the actual city name, I'm going to give you a quick overview. So this particular area is a suburb of Austin. Here you're located on the north shore of Lake Travis, so you're a little bit farther than the previous communities I mentioned in this video. On that note, be sure to check out my video that highlights a little bit more about the nuances of living around Lake Travis, and it also breaks down the differences between the north and the south shore of the lake, which many people don't know, and it can make a huge difference on your level of enjoyment when you're living around Lake Travis. Now, because this particular community that I'm talking about is on the north shore of Lake Travis and a bit farther than the others that I mentioned, I believe this is one of the reasons that it has taken a little longer for this area to actually be on people's radar. And it's one of the reasons that I think it has a lot of untapped potential, especially in years to come. So on that note, in order to access this section, you'll find yourself going up and around Lake Travis, which adds about 25 minutes to your commute to downtown. Because of that, you're often just under an hour to downtown Austin, which can be a very long time for people, depending on where you're working, what you like to do day to day. So it's really important that you do know that there is quite a distance between this area and downtown Austin. With that being said, though, you really don't have to leave the area unless you just want a change of scenery, or maybe you're looking for a specific restaurant spot or catching a show in downtown Austin. You have so many things within the community where you don't really have to leave. So before I dive into amenities to tell you a little bit more about what's nearby in the community, what's outside of the community in terms of commercial amenities, I'll let you know what the city is, and this is the city of Lago Vista. Let's dive into amenities within Lago Vista, specifically the community amenities. So Lago Vista actually has an incredibly nominal property owners association fee, which is $100 per year. This gives you access to miles of resident-only parks along the shoreline of Lake Travis. So these are only for residents, and they're right along Lake Travis itself. So really, really pretty and unique to this specific area of Lago Vista. In case that's not enough, you also have a community pool that you can tap into, as well as a golf course. So there's really everything that you could possibly want in Lago Vista, and not a lot of people really know about this. Now, we touched a little bit on the neighborhood amenities. Let's dive into the commercial amenities related to Lago Vista. And I think this is one of the downsides to the area right now. It will come. Right now, the commercial amenities are a little bit light in Lago Vista. You do have a grocery store. It's not one of our big brand name chains, but you do have a grocery store in Lago. And then you have a Starbucks, some other restaurants that you can tap into, and pharmacies. If you are looking for the big box stores, more of them, and those recognizable chains, then you're going to find yourself going into Cedar Park, which is about a 15-minute drive north out of Lago Vista. And that's where you'll find most of the new development, because the growth just hasn't really worked its way all the way into Lago Vista. As much as Lago Vista itself is quite developed, it's primarily residential, and the commercial to that scale is yet to come, but it will be on the way. Right now, that's the only downside to living in the Lago Vista area, is that everything is just a little bit farther. Now, one of the reasons I think Lago Vista has so much untapped potential is because it's actually located on the north shore of Lake Travis. And because of the sheer distance from downtown Austin, you'll find that the home prices in this area are on average about half the price of the homes on the south shore of Lake Travis, which are the original neighborhoods that I covered in this video. So there's a ton of value to be had on the north shore of Lake Travis, generally speaking, if you're willing to have that extra commute time to downtown Austin. And again, it's not that bad, because you have so many things that you can tap into in the Cedar Park and Leander area, which are only about 15 to 20 minutes away from you in Lago Vista. So this is a very good area, I think, with a lot of upside and a great investment opportunity over the long term. This is all about what it's like living in Austin, Texas. Just as a reminder, I'm a licensed real estate broker here in the Austin Metro, and I would love to help with all of your real estate needs. As always, call, text, or email. I'd love to answer those questions for you. And be sure to like and subscribe. And please let me know your comments down below. I would love to hear what you think about the video. Let me know your thoughts about Lake Travis in general. Is it something that's for you? Or are you exploring the area? Please let me know in the comments, and be sure to ask all of those questions down below.